welcome into On the Go, be our guest.
Yep, on the go.
Amazing, whatever we want to call it here.
Yes.
But we have a very dear friend of ours, John Key. I have known and worked with John long ago with the Department of Agriculture, and you are so knowledgeable. It is so fun to work with John.
Good.
You know how we both
yes.
feel. But you're doing something that is amazing right now. And basically, you are taking people on tours to Cuba. And Cuba is one of the most amazing things right now, but you have to understand, you can't just go to Cuba.
Right.
Cuba is not open. So you have the ability to take couples or a single person or groups or whatever. And what enables you, first of all, to be able to take these people to Cuba?
Well, first of all, I guess it would be experience. You know,
Yeah, that's a good one.
My children, or people ask me all the time, how many times have you been to Cuba? Well, I really don't know. My children have counted up about 6 times in the last, I guess, decade or so. But yeah, now with the opportunities for people to travel, it makes individuals easier to go. They travel under a general license through the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control, which allows individuals like myself or travel service providers the ability to put together a trip and offer a U.S. authorization for them to travel to Cuba. Now, it's not tourism, you know.
Right.
Many people misunderstand that, but most people that go are going for a people-to-people type of experience, where there are opportunities to visit with people that we're working with, people in the community, experience culture, things like that.
I love that. So basically getting to know that country and the people who live there.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's, if I wanted to go to Cuba, and fortunately I have been, I went 10 years ago, and found it utterly amazing. I loved the people, I love the music, and it's changed. You said the food is even better.
Absolutely. The food, when you went, Miss Virginia, we were required to eat in government owned and run restaurants. Well, the Cuban government has allowed individuals more freedoms, more opportunities to be entrepreneurs. So they've opened up restaurants, and some of the restaurants that we eat in, that we take people to, they're only 10 tables. But the food is outstanding. I mean, they have people that are trained from all over South America that come in and cook there. And I mean, we have a lot of folks that go on a culinary tour around Old Havana. They're very much like the fresh seafood, the ceviche, things like that. But one thing that makes traveling with an independent provider like myself different than, say, a big group is that we provide opportunities for people to stay in casa particulares, which are people's homes, much like a bed and breakfast. You get to know the owner of the home, and they cook breakfast for you, things like that. And we also have cars and drivers for people to get around on. Our drivers all speak English, and so it's a wonderful opportunity to get to know them, but also explore Cuba, explore Havana and the countryside as well.
You brought a few things for us to display that I think are, there's certain things about each country that everybody relates to. And with Cuba, of course, the famous Cuban cigars.
Correct.
I think you brought a box of...
So is Cuba basically a big tobacco growing country?
You know, they
or
are.
Do they import the tobacco? And
they do import some. Much of the Cuban tobacco that is commercially available all over the world, less in the United States, they import a lot of the filler from the Dominican Republic and Honduras, and they use a lot of the wrappers and the skill set of the people to roll the cigars. But one of the opportunities that we provide is a day trip to Vinales Valley, where that's the primary growing area in Cuba for cigars. It's in a bunch of a mountain range, more or less, where they have some valleys and it's really high humidity, and so it just tends to do well for tobacco.
It's like Blue Mountain coffee. There are certain areas that it's the best just due to the climate and due to the soil.
But part of the experience in Cuba and going to Vinales and other places like that is you get to go to cigar factories or a rum factory, and you know, Cuba is just really known for cigars and rum.
I just thought that the cigar factory was fascinating to watch how those were made and rolled and how diligent they all were. All right, so let's say I wanted to go back and I wanted to get in touch with you. How would I go about going back to Cuba with you?
Well, again, it would be to contact me. You can always visit or find us on Facebook at Visit Cuba Now.
Okay.
And we would customize an approach to what you wanted to do. We have several typical type opportunities for travel, and again, we customize specifically depending on what you want to do and what you want to see.
I love that.
That makes it nice.
It's kind of like the shoes. It's a custom fit.
That's right.
That's good. Well, John, we're going to get you to come back again next week because we want to talk a little bit more about this and just find out some of the do's and don'ts if you're going to be going to Cuba.
Absolutely.
Just remember, it's our southern neighbor, but now it's going to be more accessible than ever. So if you want more information, let us know and we'll get you in touch with John. We'll be right back right after this.